CASAway.com. It's free. You can go on there, log on. In fact, my agenda that I'm talking about here today, line by line, is on CASAway.com. So if you don't have a copy of the agenda, don't worry. This is a 6-page document. I just feel like printing 600 pages here, but you can get everything we're talking about here online. I also put together a list of all the lenders. In fact, I didn't put together the list. It was forwarded to me by Sharon Hunter of Chicago Title. She sent me a list of the lenders, what they're looking for. Awesome list. So you can see every single lender, what documents they want ahead of time. It's all on CASAway.com. So when you're getting offers, make it very clear, and whether you're representing a buyer or you're representing a seller, there's a few things that are very, very important. Number one, as is very important. On occasion, you'll have a lender agree to repairs, but that's very rare. You're better off coming in with an as-is offer. You're going to avoid a lot of headaches, and you're going to get a good deal already on the property. Come in with an as-is. Lenders don't want to mess with as many things as possible. They got their own issues they need to deal with. Limit buyer credits and closing costs to a maximum of $3,500. In fact, if you can, try not to ask for closing costs. However, I will say this. We had one accepted that I think they were upside down by $175,000. They accepted it. They agreed to pay 3% of the buyer's closing costs. That's a rarity. It doesn't happen all the time. It's probably happening a little bit more and more because lenders are starting to get a little bit and figure out that this market is in a tough situation right now. I don't know what the word is properly, but try to avoid credits for repairs or other items, and include or insist on a pre-approval letter. When you're sending your offers to your lenders, make sure there's a pre-approval letter on there. If you don't have a pre-approval letter on there, the lender's not going to want to look at it. See, when you start giving lender documentation that half of it's filled out, they just put it at the bottom and they wait for you to get your act together, and then they start working on your file. Now, when you do a pre-approval letter, a couple things that are very important. I learned this the hard way. Make sure that the pre-approval letter states the price that you've agreed to. For example, you got a great buyer who can buy up to $650,000, and there is $700,000 owed on that property, and the seller agreed to a price of $600,000. What do you think the lender is going to come back at for a price? $650,000, because you gave them a pre-approval of $650,000. I know, we learned it the hard way. We had a battle with that lender, and they agreed to give us at the price that we agreed in the beginning. But make sure that that's on there. 6-a-day close of escrow or sooner. Gosh, some deals I've closed them. We've closed them in 34, 35 days from beginning to an end. Some deals, Sonny, how long was our deal? About 45 days or so? Was it longer?
A little longer.
Okay, yeah. So some deals we close in 60 days. There's some that we've been in escrow for 90 days, and it just happens a little bit longer. I would say the norm is around 60. I'm starting to think that maybe you should bring me an offer of 90 days or sooner closing. I will tell you that we'll do everything to close them in less than 60 days, and more than likely they're going to, but you just never know depending on who you're dealing with. Also, use the CAR short sale addendum on all offers. There's a lot of good stuff on there that you really should be using that protects you, and a lot of verbiage that these CAR attorneys have put together for us. Insist on a deposit for your offers. Here's a good one. Make sure that there's a deposit, because a lot of times buyers will bring in an offer and say, we will not deposit our money until the lender gives us approval on that short sale. Well, guess what? I will not do anything until you give me a deposit, because you have to, if you're representing buyers writing offers, you have to show some type of a commitment that you're in it with along with the sellers. If you bring me an offer and you're saying we're not going to accept your offer, it's just not going to happen. Because we put a lot of work and time into our transactions. If there's no deposit, who's to say if the buyer's not out making 10, 15 other offers? What's stopping them from doing nothing? Because you're letting them do it by not getting a deposit. Of course, we all know that if the transaction doesn't get approved, if inspections don't come on, if the lender doesn't approve the short sale, they're going to get their deposit back, but you have to show a level of commitment to the other agent. And you, as a listing agent, insist on this. Okay, because when we talked about this on the last time I did one of these, and I had like 2 agents tell me the same thing happened to me, Robert. We're in escrow for like 60 some odd days. We're ready to close escrow. I called the agent, we got approval, and they just said they would have bought something else. They would have bought something else because they had no deposit. They had no sense of commitment because there was no deposit there. So make sure that you have a deposit on there. Also, we talked about, okay, removal of financing contingency within 14 to 17 days. Now, a lot of people say on their offers, we do not want to remove the contingencies until the lender gives us approval. Well, the only contingency that I will ask from you, and I will expect the same from you if I bring you an offer, is to remove the financing contingency subject to an appraisal. Because I want to make sure that I got a buyer that really is approved. Okay, as we're going through the transaction, what happens if I get approval from the lender and your buyer's not even approved? Okay, I just spent 60 days or 45 days on it. So I'm going to ask you to remove your financing contingency, put in your deposit, subject to an appraisal and of course your inspections. Okay, that's pretty fair. It doesn't cost you any money to get financing approval. Also, lenders have told us they want to work with only one offer at a time. Sending them 4 or 5 offers at one time is not a good thing. Lenders have come back to me and said, well, Robert, what do you want me to do? I mean, we're slammed. We got so many people. We're triple booked on the amount of deals that we're doing. We don't want to see 4 or 5 offers. Which one do you want us to work with? So you need to, when you agree with your seller on a price and on a property, that's the offer you send to the lender. Okay, you are obligated, obviously, to report any and all offers to the seller, and that's for the seller to consider as backup offers. But I really suggest that you send your lenders one at a time. You're going to spend the next year sending them one offer after another as they keep coming in. So make sure you do that. And lenders have told us, we don't want to see more than one offer. We just want to see the offer that you guys have agreed upon, and that's the one we're going to work with. Report your accepted offers as pending sales to the multiple listing service. For a while, they weren't doing that. Okay, they were saying, well, we don't see short sale offers as real accepted offers. I don't think so. I got involved in a deal where the agent, wasn't reporting it. He was continuing to look at other offers, and I had a seller who signed a contract that they accepted our offer subject to lender approval. So I contacted RAL. I sent them a letter like, what are you guys doing? We're really going to hurt this industry and our market by doing this, because then nobody's going to want to work with short sales. Because then buyers are going to say, why would I want to write an offer on a property if they're going to continue to forget it? I'm not going to touch them. So you know what that does, guys? That really makes things bad for everybody. So they changed that. Nick?
It's a violation of the MLS not to make it pending release.
Thank you. Exactly. So they wrote a letter. They said they were changing it, and so that really is a practice. You have to report your sales that are, even if they're short sales, as a pending sale. Okay, you have to do that.
Excuse me, Robert.
Yes.
Is that before the lender's approval?
Yes, absolutely. Once a seller accepts an offer, you got to report it as a pending sale. Again, refer to the CR legal brief regarding foreclosures and short sales. Download them at constantway.com. There's a couple of changes in the way we're starting to handle offers. You know what? It used to be where I used to negotiate the heck out of these offers to make sure that they were super clean and everything what the lender wanted. Now, as times are getting tougher, as we're seeing prices of properties come down a little bit more, and then lenders are starting to realize, holy cow, we have a problem here. Okay? They're starting to be a little more open in the way they're accepting things. So if we see an offer come in at 85 to 90% of value, all I'm going to do is I'm going to clean it up. Like the terms and so forth that we need to clean up. And then I'm going to let the lender decide on what they want to negotiate on. Because what's going to happen is, as things are progressing, you're going to start finding that you're negotiating with the buyer and the buyer's agent, and then everything's approved. Then the buyer's going to start negotiating again. People don't like that. It turns them off. They walk away. So now, if you're coming with a fair offer, I'm going to let the lender figure out what's the lowest price they'll take. I just talked to a gentleman the other day. He says, Robert, I had a property that they owed $1.7 million on it, and it's wild because I have one just like that right now. We owe $1.7 million on it, and we came in with an offer of $1.1 million, and the lender took it.
Wow.
The lender took it. 700,000, 600,000, yeah. $600,000. Okay, I have one right now that's the same exact thing. So it's really not up to you to decide what the lender's going to accept. More than anything, it's up to the lender. It's your job to get reasonable offers, and then let the lender decide. You have a quick question?
Yeah, I was just going to add to that. A lot of it has to do with the overall bank's portfolio.
Mm-hmm.
And if they accept the house back, they have to keep, say 1.6, they have to keep 1.66 times, 2.5 times that much money in their bank portfolio.
Mm-hmm.
So they're anxious to get rid of them as well for that reason, because they can't lend on it.